Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story, and I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
I am that dude, Bodkins.
If DP lost like, deep. Yeah.
Right. Where he's wondering he's like, I
had it up, Patty.
One style, like no weight classes.
Yeah, basically, like I said, there's been a couple guys that are like,
it's ridiculous. No way. There's nobody else out there. He's your guy.
That's just not my mentality, bro. Like,
yeah. Leave the ladder down. That's my always like, hey, somebody helped you out. Why not help somebody else out? Return.
Give a big round of applause for the one and only Bodkins Show.
Or bringing Craig Counsell down the interstate. In a move unexpected. I had people.
I'm going to repeat that again, folks. I didn't stutter. Welcome to the Bodkins Show.
see, that's the type of shit I'm talking about. Oh,
my bad. I hit the wrong intro button on the wrong show.
I didn't know what show I was on.
I thought you were switching it up on us real quick.
I'm like, what stream did I join?
Sorry, folks. You are tuning into another great episode of Headkicks and Haymakers. I am your boy Bodkins, baby. Wrong intro on the wrong show. Sorry. Click the, it happens. This is what happens when you got a host, you produce, you're doing it all. You know what I mean?
But it was fire, though. It was fire. I can't lie.
Yeah. I can't. As always, welcome to another great episode of Headkicks and Haymakers. Joining me, as always, is your boy K Witt and Mr. Runts. Boys, what a time it is. It is UFC 322, held by none other than headlined by none other than Jack Della Maddalena, or JDM as I like to call him, versus Islam Makchev, or however you say his last name. You guys know I suck at names, but versus Islam. You have two fighters trying to get that double belt status in Islam and Wei Lee. It's not even just at the top of the card, but by God, if your dick doesn't get hard already, look down further on this card. It is absolutely stacked from all the way from the opening prelims to the main event. I mean, might be the best card of the year. We probably say it about every other pay-per-view, but man, this one's special. To me, you have the main and the co-main, which you could argue are fight of the year, like anticipation type fights, and then some, especially the co-main event, which isn't getting a lot of love. Bobby, I'll start with you. Just your thoughts on the layout of the card, and we'll probably kind of look at the prelims and then dig into the main card here. But your anticipation for Saturday night.
I mean, easily 11 out of 10. I'm kind of already there. You can definitely see the effort built on the card, not only just the prelims, but definitely the main card. Like it feels like there's stakes in every single fight that's on the card, especially, with the main event being at 170, I kind of highlight it with that. So, I can't wait. Just a few more days. It's going to be good.
We are live in New York, in Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. Your anticipation for Saturday night? I wish it was almost Saturday already, because, like I said, this card is stacked.
Yeah, bro. This is one of those ones. You look down, you see the names. This is if you count me, I'm literally, and we always clown about the Apex and fight nights, but there's about 3 main event fight night or Apex fights on this joint, just to get you ready, just to have you salivate a little bit for the main and co-main. I know. Well, somebody may make a little bit of noise about the co-main. Don't worry. I still think it'll be exciting, but definitely looking forward to seeing Islam versus Jack Della Maddalena. Because that's how I had to hear somebody pronounce his name the other day, and I was like, yeah, that sounds like the Mario theme. But anyway, I'm excited for sure, dog. The card's stacked. We lit. We ready to rock. Saturday, we're gonna be all over the place with it.
Rob says here. Hey, well, Rob, I know you're a big Bengals fan, so he said he's going to Pittsburgh Saturday, even with his wife going to watch Bengals Steelers game Sunday.
Shout out to Rob. Rob would have
hey,
do.
Shout out, Rob. Well, have fun at the game, Rob. I mean, you can watch it on your phone or whatever. You know what I mean? So, it starts at 10 o'clock Eastern time. Hopefully, you'll be settled in by that time. I know I don't like being on the road, so but yeah. Hey, let's get into it, boys. I don't even really know where to start. Let's start. To me, we'll start with the prelims. Now, the early prelims are Gerald Meerschaert getting out of the Apex, Pat Sabatini as well. The veteran Angela Hill is on the early prelims as well. So even the early prelims, definitely something to tune into. But let's start out with the Malcolm Wellmaker, who has made his name through super knockouts. He's 10-0, finds himself taking on Cody Haddon here. Wellmaker, the favorite at -150. It's almost a pick 'em. Both of these fighters combined 18-1. I'll start kind of with you. Your thoughts on just the start of the night on the prelims?
Yeah, man. Like I mentioned just a minute ago, on the prelims, it's definitely some fights on here that if you were under a bridge, you might not recognize some of these names, but these are some of the more talented fighters that we have to look forward to, in the future, of course. So somewhere in here, I'm really excited about a fight like Roman Kopylov and my guy Gregory Rodriguez. Y'all know what time it is when it comes to Kopylov and Greg Rodriguez. Somehow, some way, I would be remiss to think about Malcolm Wellmaker and his ability to just pretty much lay guys out, and how he's been recently really been putting on a show. I'm more so, of course, thinking that he hasn't even gotten into his real bag quite yet, because even though he is 10-0, these last couple of UFC fights that I've gotten a chance to witness myself personally, I've been excited to just check him out. He's got I think three
knockouts, two knockouts, not including the Contender Series. 3 knockouts all in the first round, if you count them.
3 knockouts. This Wellmaker is my guy who was out there really welding pipes and stuff like that. Quit his job, right? Yeah. So I love a good story. So I'm excited to see him actually get to the point where hey, the national spotlight's going to be on you. The name is going to get to higher places and be on the lips of some of the big fight makers. But right here, I know Bobby was going to say this, so that's why I'm glad I'm going first, kind of, sort of. Let's just jump up 2 spots, man, and go, wow. Bo Nickel, Rodolfo Vera. Are we going to see what we've been thinking we were going to see for the last 2.5 years? Bo Nickel, who's out here ready to actually do some work and put in some work. I'm not taking anything away from his collegiate career, which we all celebrated, which we were excited to see him coming to the UFC with. But is this going to be a test in which we see Bo Nickel put them hands on somebody, Bo? We've been waiting, I think, long enough for you to come out here and do the things that we as fans, fight fans, thought you were capable of, and that you pretty much told us you could do from the get-go, right? Am I wrong about that? He celebrated himself before he really got the opportunity. Renier de Ritter kind of put him in a really bad position with that knee to the body. That went to pretty much took him out of the thoughts and minds of immediate stardom. But now he gets another opportunity. I'm extremely excited about that because pressure makes diamonds, or pressure busts pipes. I don't know which one we're going to get when it comes to Bo Nickel, but I'm definitely down to see that one. I'm not going to take up all the time. I know I see Bobby's mind. Bobby's mind is working right now. He's going to say something just a little disrespectful, and I kind of got an idea about where he's going. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Bobby. I'm gonna let those be my 2, and I'm gonna let Bobby go ahead and get his in, bro.
Bobby, real quick, Cody Haddon on the Wellmaker fight is no slouch himself. He's a hot prospect out of Australia, kind of getting his second fight. This is 2 young bantamweights gonna open up this on the prelims.
Yeah, no, I love the matchmaking on this. Wellmaker's last fight, they kind of found him an opponent to get on the Georgia card, which was great and all. But this definitely seems a lot more the UFC style, kind of matching up two young prospects. And stylistically, it's one of the main ones I got circled for sure. I think we all kind of would want to see Wellmaker go fairly far. But like you said, at the same time, Cody's also coming up, and that one should absolutely deliver. Right before that, you got, I know I'm going to butcher his name, but it's Chimaev's boy, Bassinger, Susterkov.
Oh yeah, Sukervakov. Yeah, he was on. He was just on this Contender series. Yeah,
he was on Contender, and then it was in between the same week that Chimaev was fighting Dricus.
Oh yeah, the Chicago card. Went on the Chicago card too.
So yeah, he got signed, got put on, and got the win. And if you look at the line with that, it's kind of foreshadowing the same thing. Like he's a minus 1050. I'm just kind of interested to see if we're gonna be able to keep that bit going, and he's just gonna kind of keep steamrolling guys like Chimaev did young in his career. The line would definitely indicate that's probably
minus 10,000. Minus 10,000.
Yeah.
10,000.
Yeah, I mean that'd be one on Tapology that's probably like 100% or 99% picking that side. So, but that's just the second fight on the early prelims, so you're not gonna like really have to wait long for any action there. I think even the opener is a pretty stacked one as well. But
Borshakev.
Yeah, and definitely the one, even though it's a rematch, I got circled is for sure Aaron Blanchfield and Tracy Cortez. I'm just kind of curious about that because, with Blanchfield, we didn't get to see her fight on her last walk. And, her performance before that, I wasn't sure if the girls were kind of catching up with her wrestling, and she was a little depleted in the striking. So I really like the rematch and think that's really intriguing. So they got quite a bit. And, Kopylov definitely laid an egg in his last fight with Kostov. So he could get back in it. RoboCop's always entertaining. So there's a lot to like on here for a wide range of audience.
Yeah, you mentioned the Aaron Blanchfield versus Tracy Cortez. They fought way back in February 15th, 2019. Tracy won that by a split decision. So here we are. I mean, then after that, Blanchfield went on a run. She didn't lose until March of last year when she lost to Manuel Fierro, and then she just coming off of. We haven't seen her. You mentioned that fight that was supposed to happen earlier this year, but she is coming off the win over Rose, which that was a very close fight. I thought actually Rose won that one, if I believe, but unanimous decision. Blanchfield for Tracy, like she's 12-2. She lost to Rose in a unanimous decision, but she's coming off the win back in June of this year. So I don't know. I think the wrestling of Tracy or of Aaron's probably gonna do her like it will be able to tackle Tracy and win that fight. But man, you're talking about a meaningful fight there in the women's flyweight division.
Yeah, I mean, at first looking at it, that was the same read I had on it, but at the same time, I just kind of remember Blanchfield not really wowing me with her last performance.
Yeah,
and
I thought she lost the Rose fight. I remember. Yeah.
It's just I'm more just a little curious because I'm still kind of curious how the Barber fight would have went as well, like because it's the same like issue stylistically. So she is heavily favored, but I definitely think Cortez is a live dog in that one.
Yeah, and where you mentioned RoboCop, my guy RoboCop is coming off. Remember, he bounce back win against Jack Hermanson after he lost the lost Cannoneer This is his third fight this year. So he lost in February to Jared, and now he's beat Jack Hermanson. So this is his third fight. So another kind of step up here for RoboCop against Kopylov, who they were pretty high on, the bigger Chase Hooper is what I like to call him. And Chase Hooper's big brother is coming off the loss to Paulo Costa and is taking on RoboCop. I really like RoboCop in this fight, mainly just because I like RoboCop the person, but that's a fight to tune in. It's going to be a nice striker's delight, as we know, as RoboCop loves to bang.
Yeah, for sure. This is for me a fight to see. We saw Kopylov kind of come up, through Contender Series, through them Apex fights, through Fight Night fights, and we were saying, all right, he's got the talent. We were seeing him, kind of put on display the things that we want to see from young fighters, where they're doing a little bit of everything. I remember that Josh Freeman fight, right? With the liver punch, that was ridiculous. I was a bit of a wild one for a fight night, and I was excited to say, okay, this guy's coming up. But then, of course, Paulo Costa, kind of in a way that's very much Paulo Costa like, showed us that he's not as well rounded against fighters who have more tenure in the rank. Paulo Costa, of course, is no slouch at all. And to me, this was an occasion in which I think the rubber met the road. Like, he should have took that loss and learned, and should be applying everything from losing to Paulo Costa to Roman Kopylov. To Rodriguez, to RoboCop, because the main thing is RoboCop is going to accidentally tear your head off if you're not paying attention. But on the flip side, one more just to kind of creep right into 322. I'm slightly excited to see where we will head at with, like, once again with I gotta say it again. What Bo Nickel are we gonna get?
That's the good question, Wick, because like this is a huge step down for Bo. Like, he's coming off the loss to RDR, right? And that was in May of this year. So this is like to me a step back, back, right? Like, this Vieira isn't, he's not a world beater. You know what I mean? His last fight out, unanimous decision against Tayshawn Gore. Before that, lost to Petrosky. So it's like they are feeding this. They're trying to rebuild, Bobby, the hype train that is Bo Nickel.
But, like, I don't know, man. Maybe they're just more appropriately matchmaking, because, like, if you look at it,
it is appropriate, right? 11-3 versus 7-1. Yeah. Yeah,
they both share
one guy
win.
just has the shiny name because of who he is.
Yeah, I mean, they both share a win over Cody Brundage. So I think that UFC just kind of made the decision, hey, we tried RDR. That absolutely did not work. We got to kind of go back down to this. And I think this is about as and I don't want to, like, come off that I'm, like, down on Vieira because of it or anything, but, like, I just feel like this is about as low as, like, you probably could have, like, gone. I mean,
right. Yeah. Agreed. I think they maybe tried to run, or maybe they didn't know what they had in RDR. You know what I mean? It could be both. And they were like, hey, this is either we can use RDR's name to prop him up, and then they are vice versa when that match was made. And it did not go Bo Nickel's way at all. It'll be interesting to see how this one, like Whit said, it'll be interesting to see what goes. If he loses, if Bo Nickel loses on Saturday night, the train has completely fallen off the tracks.
Yeah, man. The train at one point in time had Uncle Dana, like, right on the front. And that is, like, that's going to take you off. You know what I mean? That's going to jumpstart anyone's career when you have the big man, the boss, kind of, right there front and center for your arrival, so to speak. But it's not been anything to yell about. It's not been anything to scream about or post about. But like you said, that last fight, is this a apparition? Will we see more of it? But will we see a more aggressive to use the skill set that we know he's come in with, in this fight? And somewhere in there, can he use it to the ability of saying, okay, I'm going to wear the guy out and then stand him up and take him off his hinges? I don't know, but somewhere in what would make me think, and Rob, kind of mentioned it in the comments, is, the specialist era is over. So if technically this is all you got, bro, you gotta show us the other side of the game. And we're on a pay-per-view, and you're leading right into the main card.
Well, speaking of that, people were throwing a fit because he was on the main card. I don't really care. To me,
the name makes it slightly worthy to see. Whether he wins or loses, to see it, I think is the point. But as a fan and somebody that wants him to do well, I want him to do well, even if I would hope it doesn't go all the way to this judge's scorecard where he has lost in the past. But if it does, he has to put on enough of a show to win over the judges and the common folks like us.
Go ahead, Bobby. You got something to add?
I mean, I don't know. I just still think like where his career is, he's kind of got a long way to go. So
he does. I don't think he should fight a ranked fighter until he's had 10, 15 fights in the UFC.
Yeah, I mean, this would, he's still only like 7-1. So
yeah.
I think him originally being on the main card was the organization just kind of signaling, hey, we still have high hopes for this guy. And, at the same time, they figured, why not? You probably attract more eyes having him on the prelims compared to the people that are gonna, watch it. You're gonna get your group of avid hate watchers that are gonna, tune in to see if he's gonna slip or not. So, but I mean, all I really want to see from him is to get back to like what he's good at, which is implementing his wrestling.
Agreed.
Like, don't tell me that you're worried about this guy's jiu-jitsu. Like, your wrestling should be superior. So you got 15 minutes to use that. And I would just kind of get back to, knowing what you're used to. The, the Paul Craig fight, the one that ended up being like the kind of 15-minute standing match that was just kind of bizarre in the eyes. It really just felt like he was, because he had so many lack of fights, he was like using his full 15 minutes to kind of, work his way through that fight. And then when he went into the DeRitter fight, it was just the complete opposite. So I think he, just got a little overwhelmed. Shit, we've seen Whitaker take damage from that same body shot. So I know a lot of people said, like, after Rob lost, that Bo's loss aged a little bit better. I'm not really subscribing to that too much, but I just think no matter what happens on Saturday, we're still not going to know what this kid's like long-term future is. And he's just going to have to, get more in. And, hopefully he can take into the main card with a victory and get it back in his corner. But even if he takes a loss, like, I don't think he's going to like call it a career. He's just going to keep working at it.
He's a get kid. More fights. He's like 23 years old. Like, he's still young, like still everything in front of him.
Yeah. I mean, it was the UFC that made the conscious decision to doubly book him on the Contender Series when he was pretty much already signed. So, I'm sure he'll figure it out, but, I don't really think it's a make or break territory. I don't see that with the matchmaking. I just see it a lot more conscious of, having him, fight in this area.
Let's jump into the main card. The card starts out at the lightweight division. You have number 9, Beneil Dariush, 23-6-1. He is the slight dog at plus 155, taking on number 13, Benoit Saint Denis, who's 15-3, the slight favorite at minus 185. We saw Beneil earlier this year, beat Hineto Moicano in a unanimous decision back in June of this year. BSD is kind of, I mean, it's like he had the steps back, last year, but he's now on a 2-fight winning streak. They're giving him a big step up after losing to Poirier and Moicano. He did beat Marcio Hufi back in September, so kind of a quicker turnaround here. But the last time he was kind of in this spot, he lost to Moicano and DP. Whit, I'll start with you. Your thoughts here on the start of the pay-per-view, Beneil Dariush versus BSD.
Hey man, we've been doing this show for a while, man, and I recall Bobby, me, you having like really, really high hopes for BSD with Benoit Saint-Denis. Was taking on guys like Thiago Moises, Matt Provola. I remember that, but then he got to the top tier competition, and it changed just a little bit. And when I say top tier competition, I'm talking about guys who went for the title, could have been for the title. Of course, bang, DP, Dustin Poirier, right hook, took him out. It was a fight in which I thought he was doing really well, but at that time, he was on such an upswing that we thought, hey, look, the title is right there within reach for this guy. But then he had a bit of, a stumble with that Moicano fight, of course, with the stoppage. But since then, 2 fights in a row, had some really, really good showings. The face crank with Marcio Rufi, I thought that was the best BSD that we had seen in a while. But then, and then we go to the other side. When we talk about BSD, Beneil Dariush, yeah, boring Beneil. I know he gets the nickname, but originally, when it was working against Matheus Gamrot, Tony Ferguson, names like that, this was a guy that we were supposed to be keeping an eye on. So, like, to me, this is one of those, like, it's at the beginning of the fight card, but it's really like the Spider-Man meme where they're like, they're the same. The guy is fighting the guy right here. Which guy is going to win? I don't know. But for me, the skill set that I think that Benoit Saint-Denis has shown lately, when he's in his bag, I think this is what kind of nullifies what Beneil Dariush does, because there is wrestling, there is grappling, but there is also the definition of the hands, the defining moment in which you might have to stand and trade with the guy across the ring. And if they're all equal, I kind of give that one to BSD. And that's kind of where, that's the only other thing I might have to think of in my opinion. But it's a toss up for me. I'm really going to the idea of it's going to end up a decision for BSD. But I'm really interested in this one to start off the card. This is a great one. Somebody is going to have to take an L, but technically, in my mind, this is the guy fighting. You know how it is when you and your homeboy are playing Street Fighter and both of y'all pick Ryu. It's just this is what it is to me right here. This is Ryu versus Ryu. Just one guy's got on the white gi, the other one's got on the ugly red one, and they're both going to be going Hadouken from corners at the same time. So that's what I got for BSD, Beneil Dariush, man.
Well, who you picking? You got to pick somebody.
I'm going BSD, man. Benoit, going in.
Bobby, your thoughts here? If you do the MMA math, right? Dariush beat Hineto Moicano. BSD lost to Moicano. It's 2 + 2 always equals 4 here in MMA world.
Well, let me first say I love a week out of a gambling scandal. We now have the line on the screen for me to look at. So, wonderful.
You're welcome.
Yes, let's emphasize the thing that may get other people in trouble. Yes, let's do that.
Yeah, I mean, I love the matchmaking here because it kind of, puts BSD back in the title predicament, and it's definitely a matchup worth Dariush taking. I think they match up fairly well. This easily could be a 5-round main event at like a fight night or something like that. It could definitely, it could have, possibly like low pace, or it could just have, BSD pushing forward, going ape shit to the wall, and we could really get some fireworks. So I could completely see why this was elevated to the main card. Kind of get why it was, the main prelim, because it's definitely a fight that would get you to probably start buying some pay-per-views. But good thing it got the elevation there. And MMA math on this one would absolutely fuck you up if you try to justify it and stuff. What I always took from those two BSD losses the most was that he didn't even really have a coach in his corner at the time. So in making kind of those adjustments and fixing that, he seemed to do a lot better. Ruffy was having a little bit of success in the fight, but in the end just ended up getting overwhelmed. So,
I'm not sure he's going to be able to take down Beneil, or that's somebody you really want to take down.
I would think his best avenue forward would definitely be to implement the striking there. I think Beneil is gonna, be the one that's gonna be more than happy to oblige either way, but he would kind of much rather see it go to the mat. So I think BSD's best option is probably just to, throw some pressure, do the oh shit fighting style that we kind of knew him before, he took those losses. But, it's just how he's going to approach it. Like, is he going to approach it with nothing to lose, just going forward? Or is he going to fight a little bit more calculated? We kind of just determine the fight we're going to get. I would probably lean picking BSD in this, but it's pretty hard for me not to overlook like Dariush's success in the past. So, if I was betting it, I would probably just go Dariush because of the underdog. But, give me the favorite here. I'm with Benoit to keep it kind of moving forward with this resurgence there.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth on this fight. Before the show started, I was all in on Beneil, which is very rare for me. But the more I think about it, like Beneil's last win was against the old man Moicano too. Remember, Moicano was like, and he lost to some Sarukian, who's a younger fighter. Charles is a little bit his age, but it's hard because like Beneil is 36, so like. And BSD's not even 30 yet. He's 29. So I don't know if that place makes me change my mind. I am a little bit nervous. I'm not too sure which BSD we're going to get. Like you said, Bobby, like, are we going to get this more patient one that we saw kind of his last two fights, or the kind of kill or be killed fighter in the chaos that brought us, early in his career.
Because like that's how Armin won. He like blasted with that knee early, like moving forward.
So Rob here says inside information: if Benny gets through relatively undamaged, he's going to hop on a flight to Japan Sunday. Okay. BSD 49. Yeah. Hey, that's what's, when you're in the military, Rob, that's what does it to you. So, speaking of he's in the French military. So, this past week was Veterans Day. That changed my mind. I'm going BSD, baby. I'm going with Special Forces.
Shout out to the French Foreign Legion, Legionnaires.
Yeah. Whatever what are they called?
He was the counter-terrorist unit. So
y'all don't remember those old cartoons where like the French dudes would come out of the desert with the little flappy cape on the back of the camel?
Yeah,
those are the Legionnaires, bro. That's what France did.
We get into the welterweight matchup. It is the former welterweight champion Leon Edwards, currently ranked 4, 22-5, coming off 2 straight losses. won to Sean Brady earlier this year and last year to when he lost the title to Bilal. And Carlos Prates, who won his last one out, who's number 9 ranked welterweight, 22-7. He is the slight favorite at minus 185. Remember, Prates was on the nice run until he fought Ian Machado Gary back in April, but came back, had a nice win in August. So another kind of quick turnaround here for Prates. Bobby, I'll start with you. Your thoughts here on this welterweight matchup as the younger, fighter Prates is trying to enter the top 5 here.
I mean, this is just tremendous matchmaking. Well done.
Striker's delight, my friend. Striker's delight.
I mean, this is. I know there was never a chance this was actually going to be the main event in Brazil, but this is just so much more fitting to get this on the main card of MSG. Leon hasn't been in a 3-round fight in a little bit here, so I mean that's going to be kind of an interesting thing. Whether or not
3-round fight was it Rafael? Nope, that was 5 rounds. Gunnar Nelson way back in March of 16th, 2019.
Yeah, it's wild because even because he had a few main events and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean you're gonna kind of wonder because obviously when both of their goal is going to be to strike, is Leon gonna like really be going for a feeling out process, or is he gonna establish kind of center early? And same thing I would say for Prates. It's kind of nice on his end to not have to really worry about too much grappling. But then again, that might really be the equalizer in this fight is if Leon would maybe chose to, kind of close the distance a little and maybe make him second guess and think about it. Cause I don't know. It's going to be just, are we going to get the judges in this? I think there's a pretty decent chance we do with it being
the distance personally.
Yeah, I would probably, especially with, Leon's style, I would think it would probably hit the decision. But then again, if Carlos ends up winning, it could very well not be within it. But I don't know. I have never picked Leon Edwards on this podcast to win a fight. That has not really been intentional. It's always just been because of the matchup. I really didn't like the Brady fight, the last fight, but this I think is a much better option for him to get a bounce back. And I understand why Carlos is favored because of the recent win and stuff, but I do think those odds are a little wide for my liking there. So give me Rocky Edwards to bounce back and get the win.
Okay. What about you? Real quick, the over under on the rounds is 1.5. And for the fight to go the distance is minus 115. So wait, your thoughts here?
Yeah, bro. So this is one of those interesting ones. Like we said, Striker's Delight comes to mind, but I am in the mindset of don't get caught slipping. You know what I mean? This has don't get caught slipping written all over it when I think of both guys in the fight, both Carlos Prates and Leon Edwards. Of course, we just seen Prates went outright real crazy a couple months ago, but he beat Jeff Neal, spinning elbow. Who knew, right? But Prates is a practitioner of many things and a master of none. But I think that the idea is somewhere in here, where have we seen, or when is the last time that we saw, our guy at one point in time? When is the last time we saw Leon Edwards really come through some adversity and prevail. It's been a minute, and to be honest with you,
the head kick to Kamaru Usman. That's real.
yeah, okay, right, and that is pretty much the last example we have. I feel like looking at Prates, especially in that last fight against Jeff Neal, even with the fight against Ian Gary, let's be honest about that one, because that one was kind of up there.
Ian controlled that fight for 4.5 rounds.
And that right there is it still left me going, even though Ian Gary won, it still left me going, hey man, this guy's a little different. What I want to say is I don't think that Leon Edwards has sharpened the iron, which is compatible to him grappling and wrestling enough. I don't think so. I don't think it's there. But will Carlos Prates use that? Carlos Prates is one of those guys that when he gets in the ring, from what I've seen, he likes to accentuate what's going on in the crowd. The crowd wants to see him stand and fight. He's going to stand and fight. The crowd wants to see him, pummel a little bit, get on the ground. He's going to go for that. So when the crowd finally gets into it and, starts to cheer and make noise, he's going to start feeding into that and maybe, start to throw the thing that he may or more than likely has the edge in the competition, rankings, in my opinion, in this fight away, and just stick with the stand-up. And I honestly, I have to go with him on that one too. In real life, this is a really tough one for me. Y'all know how I do. I got the head and the heart right now. But my heart wants to go with Leon Edwards because I don't want to see him lose 3 in a row. You know what I mean? I don't think that's a thing he wants to do, especially in the eyes of the fight makers. And then start sliding down on Apex and Fight Night cards. But
yeah, he's probably sitting somewhere outside the top 5, top 7-10 range.
There you go. He's definitely going to be, watching his brother more often in other fight promotions, if that's the case. But for right now, man, Prates is on the verge of being that guy in the division where we have to look out for him all the time. And if I have to do a pick right now, this is for me a pick 'em, even though the odds speak a little differently. I'm right there with Prates right now, bro. And I hate it, and it sucks. You know what I'm saying? And it sucks. The UK sucks, and so does Leon. I to some type of in some type of way, Rob, I agree. I'm waiting for them to go ahead and put on the fight that I've been screaming for, which is MVP versus Leon. But of course, they're gonna go, oh, we're mates. We can't fight each other, mate. All that good stuff. But right now, most definitely, I'm in the vein of going, hey, let's go ahead and give this to Prates and see if he can take Leon, and make him uncomfortable. Because like you said, 5 rounds is what he's used to. I don't think he's had someone immediately step to him and force him into the uncomfortability that he is possibly not right with, that he's not okay with. And that's what's going to happen if Prates, smells blood in the water, round 1 or 2 for those first, 1 or 2 rounds. So Prates on this one. Sorry, Rocky, you could have been a contender.
Well, he was. He's former champion.
Oh yeah, yeah. But you see what I'm saying. You see what I'm going with.
I think either to me, if Prates wants to win, he has to put Leon out. If this fight goes the distance, I think Leon wins. Leon's got the experience, and I think him and Ian are similar type fighters. He's going to try to keep them at a distance with the kicks and the long legs. So I think that's where I favor Leon. But Bobby, you said Prates too, huh?
No, I said Leon.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going Prates.
No, I'm not going to let
here.
Rob shame me into picking against.
Hey, yeah, I forgot you're anti-fighting nerd. Yeah, you hate the nerds.
Oh no, this is such proper.
When was the last time you picked a nerd? You talking about you picked Leon to win? This had to been. When was the last time you picked a nerd?
I feel
Never.
like you're
John
biased.
Silva?
Bobby.
John
Silva?
No, I picked Diego to beat John Silva, but John Silva's
John
last
Silva
fight,
beat Bryce Mitchell. That's
I picked him to beat Bryce. Yeah, no, it's not the fighting nerds. It is solely Kyle Bahara. Okay? that is, you know,
the leader of the nerds, so you hate them all. Bobby hates nerds. We got it. I'm going Leon here. I just think Leon needs this more than Carlos does, because 3 losses in a row to top 5 guys. Prates loses this one. He's still got a long there's still a lot of matchups for him to, he's 2 wins away and he can be right back in this spot. If Leon loses, it's pretty much you're starting to fight the bottom 10 instead of the top 10.
Yeah, but like this division it's
loaded.
It
is. Like, and we're this welterweight, it's like a Grand Prix that's happening here. You have the top 2 at the name. We didn't even then you got Ian Gary fighting next week as well. So like you got 3 welterweight fights that are important on this card, and then you got next week with Ian Gary. Who's he? I forgot who he's fighting. Who is he? He's the main event next week, right?
Oh, that is the worst rage bait I've ever seen in my life. You know who he's fighting.
I forgot. Oh, it's Bilal. I really did. I forgot the name.
That is not even.
I swear on my kid's life, I forgot who he was fighting, Bobby. I swear. Give me Rocky, baby. Don't let him bully you, son. Don't let him bully you.
Don't make me regret picking him. I will instantly switch.
Don't let him bully you.
I mean, oh God.
Come on, son. Come on. Speaking of welterweight matchups, we got maybe the guy who could be fighting for the title if Islam wasn't dropping down, and it is Sean Brady, who beat the aforementioned Leon Edwards earlier this year. 18-1. His only loss is to the Bilal, taking on the super hot prospect Morales, who's 18-0. Brady is the slight favorite at -135. Morales coming off, obviously he's 18-0, but his last fight was against Gilbert Burns back in May of this year. Brady fought Bilal earlier Leon back, I think it was March or April, March of this year as well. How about this? Like, I saw a stat, it was like, you don't want to be Gilbert Burns watching all these fights, because Gilbert Burns has lost to like Brady, Morales. He's lost to like 4 of the Jack, like he's lost to like all these guys in the welterweight division. Anyway, we'll start with you here. Brady versus Morales. I mean, if Brady wins, he's, to me, probably the clear-cut #1 contender. But if he loses, that opens the door. But I also love what Brady's talking all week. Hey, whenever they give me the title fight, I'm not going to sit here. I'm going to fight them all. I'll fight everybody to get to the title and fight with everybody when I have to fight the title. So I love Brady's attitude. He's one of the few Philly boys I like around here these days that actually can talk. So go ahead, Whit.
I forgot you got a thing for guys from Philly, don't you? You just don't like them?
No, I just don't. What's his name? The middleweight guy gets on my damn nerves. Joe Pyfer. I want to like him, but he talks on the microphone, and I can't stand him.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I got you. Just stereotypical guy, but right now, with Brady and Michael Morales, I
do think that tasteful thickness. We'll see.
This is a good one. We're getting closer to the top, so I got to look at the numbers. Tapology right now has got this going 68% to 32 Brady, but Brady by decision it looks a little more where this is headed. Without being influenced by this one, because I honestly was, I'm an eyes guy. I remember watching Sean Brady just pummel Leon to death You know what I'm saying? It was just, I was like, who is this guy? I got to pay more attention to him. You know what I'm saying? But then, of course, the fight night against Gilbert Burns, that was a good win. It was a unanimous decision, of course. Kelvin Gastelum, another one. Kimura, like this is where I think the rubber's going to meet the road for a guy like Michael Morales. Has he been put into the positions that Brady's going to put him in? Not in my opinion, because really he's got a lot of decisions, he's got a lot of unanimous decisions. But those last two, he beat Uncle Neil, via ground and pound. He got Gilbert Burns. You know what I'm saying? It took him off his square. I really, really got to thinking, and I'm like, could this be the stepping stone for Michael Morales to jump up there like that? Because I think he's like, what, 10-12 right now or something? This is so it's really dangerous territory. Like, don't sleep on this one at all. Do not sleep on your opponent in either connotation of the sort. Right now, though, man, I'm really feeling the vibes from Brady in the camp. I saw some of the stuff that he's been doing on Instagram. He looks extremely focused. He looks really well rounded in terms of what he's been doing for training. And then, of course, literally just to see that, hey, look, where he's been, what he's gone through, and how he's been applying it with that whole Renzo Gracie, camp fighting. Like, that's a big deal for me. So as of right now, if I got to put some money on it, even though I probably wouldn't, win much, I got to put a little more on Brady. I'm gonna rock with Brady on this one, man. Morales maybe just a little outmatched, just enough for it to make it all the way to the judges' scorecards, and then we'll see that probably the grappling, the ground control is where Brady will prevail again. If he does not knock him out, definitely the being in dominant position, the dominant strikes from top position will probably be where Brady wins. But mess around and find out. Them hands is dangerous too, boys. So yeah, Brady for me, and we're going to see him at the top very shortly.
Bobby, do we need to even? I'm sure you got Brady. You Eagle fans stick together.
I mean, Sean Brady is such a dog. You already applauded him for taking this. He wanted to fight, so he got a fight booked. Definitely taking a hell of a lot of risk because the UFC is very high on Morales. And when I saw this, I was like, yes, I love this match, but at the same time, I hate it because of the risk that he's taken, and those types of things never play out well, unfortunately. So that's definitely in my head. I'm not as confident as Rob alluded to in the comments. He thinks Brady will just be able to, drag his sack over him. And I'm not completely there. I mean, Morales is a very big 170. So I do think that is going to definitely be Brady's plan there. It being only 3 rounds, I think that definitely favors Brady for getting the decision. But at the same time, I feel like it's kind of always going to be live for some damage on Morales' side with the feet. And Morales can grapple. I mean, he definitely doesn't have the pedigree of Brady at all, but I don't think he's going to be completely outmatched. But I think the line kind of says it all. Like, they are. I was kind of surprised that Brady wasn't a bigger favorite, but
I thought so too. I thought Brady would be minus 250 at least, or 240 somewhere around there.
I mean, when you see Morales' work, it kind of makes sense. And I mean,
big
definitely
step though. This is a huge step.
Absolutely. I mean,
Burns, I don't want to discredit Gilbert Burns, but he's on the back end of his career. He hasn't. It's not like he fought Burns when he was Gilbert Burns' top contender.
Yeah, no, he's literally going straight to the top. So I mean, we're gonna really learn a lot about it. But I think it's because of that I'm leaning Brady, because I mean, you look at how Brady like even had to learn with his loss to Bilal Muhammad and stuff. So, I mean, is this going to be that point for Morales, or is he just going to kind of keep excelling? I could really see it going either way. But, yeah, I mean, you already know what it is. I'm loyal to Philly, so I'm obligated to take Brady, even if I don't think he is going to win.
I'm kind of with Rob. I'm going to flash this back up here, too, because I do feel like this. I do think Morales has a puncher's chance because, like, he is dangerous. I just think that just shows, like, my respect for Brady and what he brings to the table. I do think this is probably the least compelling main card fight. I kind of agree with Rob there. Like, if you look at them together, I think the other fights, and we're obviously going to talk about the 2 title fights here in a minute, are more compelling as far as, like, even-wise. And I think the other 2 fights are close to even. This fight, I think, to me, Brady is a higher favorite. And I just think that people like Morales because he has the highlight knockouts. But Brady, he's just going to come at you, and he's going to take you down, and he's just going to grind you out. We saw what he did to Leon. I don't know if that we don't really know if Morales, what kind of, like, because his fights have ended so quickly. And he's knocked everybody out so quickly. We haven't seen him kind of have to face some adversity, and Brady's going to make sure he faces it. So, with that being said, I think it's a clean sweep. We're all Team Brady here.
Yeah, and yeah, I lost the train of thought in my head, but it was piggybacking off something you just said. But so this out of all the fights on the card, this is the hardest one for me to choose because I could really see it going either way. Where
you think Morales has got a chance?
Absolutely, and I think it's just that's just how high I rate him and stuff, and it's just definitely a huge. I mean, I'm acknowledging it's absolutely a huge step up, but I really feel like the odds are telling us everything we need to know on how like competitive this is going to be. And I guess what I'm saying is I just kind of felt that in making the decision to pick it, where the other ones I kind of knew the direction I was going the entire time. And there's definitely intrigue for it to upset either way. But this is the true head scratcher on the card to me.
Okay.
And where you think it's a head scratcher, bro? I just reference the idea of, and I could be completely wrong. When I think about Michael Morales and I compare what I saw Brady do to Leon, and that was when we were thinking this is Leon's resurgence. He's ready to take on anything, all challengers. Let's see him do. No, put the brakes on that. Spank that baby. Get him out of here. I really feel like Michael Morales is on his way up. Every really good fighter has one of those ones where they're going like, I'm completely outmatched. This is what I have to work on. I think this may be what we look at from a standpoint of Michael Morales taking a loss, but using this to say, okay, guys, I'm in the gym. Let me get with, so-and-so who's going to make sure that my ground game is just as good as my stand-up. And I don't think that's a problem for somebody as young in their career as Michael Morales. But then again, on the opposite end, for somebody like Brady, that's gonna elevate him to right where he wants to be. So boom, that's it, Brady. There we go.
Yeah, let's get into the co-main event. You have Zhang Wei Li coming up, dropping her belt, moving up to flyweight to take on Valentina the Bullet. Valentina 25-4. She's the slight favorite at minus 135. Valentina, as we know, coming off of she did win earlier this year against Minor Ferro after winning it was her first successful title after the Grasso trilogy. And now she is taking on Wei Li, who had beat everybody there was to beat at strawweight. She drops the belt, moves up, and is now ready. Last time we saw Wei Li was in February, where she absolutely dominated Tatiana Suarez. Here we are. This is, pound for pound, women's 1 and 2. I mean, it's only really because Amanda Nunes was out of the rankings, but nonetheless, you're talking 2 of the 3 best women fighters, 2 of the best women fighters of all time in these 2. And right currently, pound for pound, 1 and 2. I don't know off the top of my head if there's ever been a women's 1 versus 2, but here we are. We haven't had it in a long time. And here we are with it's the Bullet versus Wei Li. Your thoughts here on the I think this fight's incredible. I can't wait to sit down and watch this one. You're muted.
Okay, so picture this, man. Long-term fighter takes on all competitions, and I'm talking about of course, Valentina Shevchenko. She takes on all competition. We've seen her win, we've seen her lose, we've seen her come back from victories, and she has a storied career, bro. There's none like it, and I can even commend her for her time as a coach on Tough, on The Ultimate Fighter. Like, her style of even coaching and going about coaching young fighters, I thought was really unique to her. It wasn't all, get down on the mat. It was more about, being a little bit well-rounded, but at the same time, keeping that focus, not just in the ring, but on the training regimen as well. So I really thought that was a really good look into who she is as just not only a person, but as a fighter as well. But then, well-known fighter from one division takes on unbeaten, unstoppable force from another division. I feel like we've seen this video before, guys, and we've seen it on the men's side multiple times. But right now, for me, seeing Zhang Wei Li come up and basically after having had cleaned out everybody for 3 years, Barkins, we've been watching these Zhang Wei Li fights for about 3 years, and they just started pulling women from other countries, other promotions. They was like, hey, Zhang Wei Li's fighting a mermaid. We're gonna see who's gonna win. and it was never an issue. I think one of the biggest things for just a career, I think, was when they let Zhang Jianan and Zhang Wei Li fight each other in China, right? And it was just, nationally televised, and then everybody got a chance to see it. And it was such a big news, a big headline for their people. I think that we as Americans probably didn't get the full scope of it, but it was a huge deal everywhere else when I looked online. And for me right now, this is like two titans coming together. This is the fight where magically, dog, if we got a draw out of this, I wouldn't be mad.
Why would you curse us like that? No, we don't want no trouble.
You might
as well say, I hope in the first 2 minutes somebody gets an eye poked in the fight.
I did not wish. I hope everybody keeps their fingers bent all weekend long. Okay, but no, in all seriousness, bro, this is one I think where if the title changes hands, it's meant to be. And when I say that, I'm emphasizing the word change hands, because Zhang Wei Li has a engine that I don't think Valentina Shevchenko has faced in that division. I don't think that the idea of facing Shevchenko scares Zhang Wei Li at all. I don't think that it's a frightening thing for her. I feel like it's another notch on her belt if she comes up there and even makes it all 5 rounds. But these Zhang Wei Li fights have been full of pressure, where she's been attacking from the get-go, and kind of Valentina has been having her way, except for in the fights that she's lost. against like the likes of Alexa Grasso. Alexa kind of took advantage of her and pretty much got her really in a good spot in that fourth round and got her in that rear naked choke. You know what I'm saying? So I really think that it's time to pass on the torch. And if it's that time for Valentina Shevchenko, this is the person to give it to. This is a noble loss. There are no moral victories in the UFC. I get it. But if you're gonna lose to John Wayne Lee, bro. Go ahead and lay it down, man. Put them gloves on the mat. Say I did it for the culture. We know the Lioness may or may not ever come out of retirement, or has the possibility of coming out of retirement, but it's not going to be for Valentina Shevchenko. But for me right now, if I gotta pick it, man, and this is one of the more, even though the numbers say different, this is one of the more evenly matched fights, and it's way more even than I think, because I think Wei Lee walks around like this. I'm gonna go. Oh wait, gotta do it. And you know what? Guess what? We didn't see that. We didn't see the mask yet. So I'm gonna go and do. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna go with John Wayne Lee on this one. Takes the belt from Valentina Shevchenko, and Valentina Shevchenko may just walk off into the sunset after this one.
Yeah, wait, you brought an interesting point. I think both these fighters here, Bobby, got more fights in their rearview mirror than they do looking forward. They're both Wei Lee's 36, Valentina 37, so they're kind of reaching the end of their primes here, and we're going to catch they're catching each other here right at the tail end. Wei Lee has been on the tear. She's looked incredible. Your thoughts here on 1 versus 2, really?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the fight that needed to happen. I mean, especially on the Wei Lee side, you didn't really know.
There's nobody left for her to fight.
Yeah, and I really hope it's not one of those scenarios where we're seeing it on Saturday and we're hoping the fight was maybe booked 3 years earlier or something like that.
Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather type thing.
Especially like when you look at the Grasso thing, like how that trilogy kind of played out. And, I think, I don't want to say Valentina like really got bored or anything like that, but this is a lot more, I think, enticing to, kind of catch up on and go out. What did Rob just say?
He said, nice change backgrounds in the middle of the show. Nice, like a good showman.
Oh, yeah. I was worried I was going to lose power, so sacrificed the light to make sure it didn't die. But yeah, I mean, I think both of them are really going to be getting up for this. And that's just a test to both their competition, and I'm really excited to see a motivated Valentina coming into a title fight. I mean, the Ferro fight, I think she did phenomenal, and she kind of showed that she definitely still belongs at the top. And I don't know. I think it's going to be competitive the entire time and definitely go back and forth. But I think I'm going to have to go and still here. I think Valentina finds a way to get it done and stamp out one more great victory.
Wei Lee, to me, gets better and better every time out. Every time she enters the octagon, she was better than the time before. The last few times I can't say that about Valentina. Not that she's already been great. And obviously we know how good she is. Certified, bona fide Hall of Famer. I think that Wei Lee just gets better and better, man. And I don't really know where Valentina beats her at. On the ground, we've seen Wei Lee do it on the ground. We've seen her do it on the feet. We can all remember when she fought Joanna and how that was one of the greatest fights. The first fight was one of the greatest fights of all time back in 2020. And then they ran it back a couple of years later, and Weili just disposed of her. Like, she gets better and better every time out. And with that being said, I'm going and new UFC Women's Flyweight Champion of the World, Zhang Wei Li. And she carries the double champ status. I know technically she's not double champ, but she gets it. She's double champ. 2 division weights. She would be the double champ, even though she's not really the double champ, but is the double champ.
I was waiting for you to do something, but you didn't do it yet. So I'm interested to see what's going on with this main event right now, big dog.
Speaking of the main event, it is the welterweight champion JDM versus Islam. Islam moving up to welterweight from drop the lightweight belt, as we know. And it's been a while actually since we saw Islam. The last time we saw Islam, I was trying to think. Oh, I guess it was earlier this year when he beat Moicano in the short replacement way back in January. JDM obviously won the belt back in May against Bilal in this unanimous decision there. JDM 18-2, quite the dog against Islam, 27-1. Again, Islam moving up to try to get his double champ status. Bobby, I'll start with you in the main event for the welterweight title.
I mean, I'm just so glad it's finally happening. I've been waiting for this one for a while here. I don't know, like I've seen like a common collective of people saying that the line makers are like disrespecting Jack. I don't really see that. I mean, to me, plus 230 when you're fighting Islam is like a very respectable line. I don't know if people like envisioned it more as like a pick'em or something like that, but for me, what?
He said best main and co-main of the year.
Oh, I mean, this is easily the best card of the year. I mean, you can't even.
Real quick, Mike, it starts normal time at 10 p.m. Baltimore time. It still starts at 10 Eastern. So I don't know what he's main card. I don't know. All right, go ahead, Bobby. Sorry.
We kind of always knew at some point Islam would move up. I mean, it was almost shocking that he was still able to make 55, especially with, the pace and stuff he fights at. And, he kind of took his time doing it. I think he did it the right way. And I think Jack is his best opponent that he's probably ever faced on Saturday. To me, it's just, whether if JDM is going to be able to get up, if he's just going to deal with Islam's, insane grip. I know Jack is very good at scrambling. Sometimes that, scrambling can leave open submissions and stuff. Just straight up boxing, I think you would probably have to give the edge to Jack. But at the same time, like, Islam can also strike. So I don't expect this to be as wrestle heavy as, most think. I think we're going to see a little bit of everything there. But to me, when I really look at it, I figure you're spotting Islam 15 pounds. And I'm just very interested to see what's that going to look like. How does he perform with that? Does the added size, throw him off at all? Or if anything, does he just have like more fuel in his engine? These are one of the fights like that I hate, that I actually have to make a pick and I just can't completely enjoy it,
You can after you make a pick. You can enjoy it after you make a pick.
Well, I just don't, because I've seen some people come in with the aspect of not being excited for it because they just figure Islam is going to win and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just really don't get how you get there, especially with the performance that Islam or that Jack put up against Bilal was great. He's been on a great streak and he's fought through adversity before. So I definitely think there's more than enough compelling ways for Jack to get it done and win. But in the end, like until someone shows me, I'm just going to have to, keep riding with Islam. I just think giving him 25 minutes, he's going to find a way to, get the submission and he will get his, second title in his second division. And there are definitely ways around it. I could see it happening and it wouldn't completely shock me. I think Jack would be the guy to do it. But, Islam is really giving me nothing to really doubt him at this point. And I think he's taking Jack extremely seriously. I think that's going over a lot of people's heads. They think he's just, making the jokes, not taking him seriously. He's saying it's, his craziest camp he's ever had. So I'm going to pick Islam here and we'll see what happens on Saturday.
Whit.
All right. So this is what we've all been waiting for, man. Just like you said, January, the Islam show went out there and did the damn thing, but it was against a
24-hour late replacement.
An impromptu Money Moricano who I don't even think he knew what he was getting into. You know what I mean? It was so much of a farce that if to say he didn't break a sweat would probably be like an understatement. And I'm not talking bad about Money Moricano when I say that. I'm just saying that he was prepared to do a totally different thing at that time, and it just didn't happen. And to a degree, we're still waiting to kind of get a fight of that magnitude for Islam. But then we look at Jack. Let's just be real. Jack has had some good joints, man. He's out here with Bilal, took him out. Gilbert Burns. We got Kevin Holland's mouth, like Holland Oates out here running. Like we've seen Jack put in work these last couple of fights, and rightfully so, won the belt, and it's been a good 25 for him. I think fought one time in 24 and twice in 23. The idea is he should have built up enough of the ring maturity to take on a guy like Islam Makchev. But alhamdulillah, like they all say, if you were Arabic or follow the Muslim thing, this is a whole nother ball game, brother. I don't know what it is right now, but I've been seeing these pictures, I've been seeing these videos, just like Bobby mentioned. This camp for Islam has been ridiculous. He's been taking this very much serious. I think way more serious than he took, the last two when he was possibly going to fight Sarukian and everything. I would be remiss to not think that somehow, some way, this gets shut down in a way that we haven't seen in a while. JDM is completely prepared to go on the feet and on the ground, but what I feel like as a great example of how this fight goes is Islam is not afraid to do the thing that people want to see, where he's not just wrestling. But we saw that when he went up against Dustin Poirier, who I thought gave one of the best renditions of how to fight Islam, we saw that when the pressure was on and when the points began to fall, Islam immediately reverted to what he knows best. He caught that ankle, he spun him around, got him on the ground, and did the darts choke on him. You know what I mean? The ground is what Islam is the ground is Islam's best friend. Let's put it like that. And is Jack anywhere near on the same level? I think we'll get an opportunity to see that. But even if it went 5 rounds, bro, even if it went all five, I would be remiss to not give this one to Islam. And I think this will be the opportunity in which we'll be able to see maybe this be done more than once. You know what I mean? And I'm fine, and I'm cool with that. And Jack should be cool with that. He should be all right. Like, okay, I heard all about it. Now I'm actually feeling it. Now I know what I got to do going forward. But for me, in this case, I hate to see Jack, who worked really hard, get up there, lose it in this fashion. But I gotta go. And we're going with Islam Makchev on this one, bro. Straight like that.
All right. Man, I'm hearing what you guys say. This fight is close. It's very interesting. The fact that I know Islam's going up 15 pounds, but one person is going up and one person is cutting. Like, I'm not saying like Islam probably going to cut to a little bit to 170, but Jack's a pretty big 170er and is probably going to be bigger on fight night than Islam. And it'll be interesting to see what Islam looks at 170. From the photos, he looks pretty freaking jacked, as we all know. There's just something I don't really have a rhyme or a reason. But I think watching JDM against what Bilal did and defending the takedowns and all this stuff, and Bilal he trains with them boys, and I think Craig Jones going to help JDM, and this is like a whole team effort, like a worldwide effort here to take down the Dagestanian wrestlers, and they're putting it all on the shoulders of JDM. It's going to be very interesting. I think we'll see all 5 rounds, or there'll be some late rounds. I definitely think we'll see the championship rounds. Maybe in the 4th. I think it probably goes 5, actually. In fact, I'm going to say it goes 5. And I'm going to say round 1, JDM. Round 2, Islam. Round 3, Islam. Round 4, JDM. And then in the 5th and final round,
an eye poke.
An eye poke ruins it. An eye poke ruins it. A cut, and the doctor comes in and ruins it.
A clash of heads.
JDM wins the 5th round, and he beats my dog on the card, baby, at plus 230. I can't even find, there it is. At plus 230, give me JDM, and still UFC welterweight champion of the world, Jack O'Lantern, Della Maddalena, baby.
Della Maddalena. Ozzy.
Still Saturday night. Go ahead, Bobby.
So I just want everyone to, if we could acknowledge and remember, and I don't mean like the two of you, but just like personal note going forward. Remember where we stand when we're talking about a lot of people are picking Jack to win this fight. That's great. If he does not, please save, and I don't mean this to you people, but save it with Islam is just fighting smaller guys. We are all acknowledging this is the bigger competition that he is going up to fight. So, let's just keep it a buck if Islam does actually win, because I can already see the excuses coming in of people being like, oh, well, he's just a weight bully, but he went up to 170, so I just hope people can enjoy the fight for kind of what it is, instead of, getting so encapsulated in kind of the aftermath,
Yeah. real quick before we get out of here, we do have to just mention here because we talked about it last week, Bobby. The Jake Paul and how Francis turned down that fight. One person did not turn down that fight, and that is none other than the former heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua. And it's reporting that he's getting like $50 million to take this fight next month. So it will be Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. I'm actually halfway. I'm pretty intrigued. I'm more intrigued on that fight than I ever was about Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. Like, kudos for Jake Paul for taking this fight. Ben Folks had it pretty funny. He said, he said Jake's he's gonna be sipping his Christmas dinner through a straw. So, but it's gonna. I'm intrigued. I probably will want to watch this fight because finally Jake is fighting somebody that's bigger than him, and that somebody that's a actual. I don't want to say a real fighter because he fought Mike Tyson, but in its prime. Sign me up. I think I'm intrigued by this. Whit, I'll start with you as our boxing aficionado.
Yeah, bro. Real quick, dog. Just to be real with you, this is one of those ones. If it really goes down, of course, we still have to, wait and see how exactly they figure it out. As far as is it a real fight or an exhibition?
I'm not too sure, Rob. I haven't heard either or. I don't think that's been settled yet.
Yeah, we haven't settled it, but in the idea of getting that guy across that pond, is very rare. I like Anthony Joshua because even in the fight that he lost, you could clearly see that you gotta knock him out in order for him to not go 110% in that ring. I don't think this will be one of those ones where they're gonna go, oh, Jake paid him to get knocked out and all of that stuff like that. I highly doubt it. But on the same token, I love the way that they highlight the female boxers on the card. We will get an opportunity to see fighters that you normally don't really hear very much about who are female. And I am, head over heels excited to see those. But then, the main event, if it's locked in, if it's really going to be a heavyweight fight, to see Jake Paul, to see Anthony Joshua, hey, you sign me up for it, dog. Like, let's just be real. Let's get it over with and let's make it happen. And then boom, and somewhere in December, we get a real fight. We get to see Lamont Rose versus Isaac Pitbull Cruz for 12 rounds. That fight will also include a fight with our guy O'Shaky Foster, which I am excited to see. So there will be more information about that going forward as we do more Head Kicks and Haymakers. But yeah, for now, Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, they're gonna bring him from across that pond, boy. It's gonna be a serious fight if they get him locked in. Promise you.
It's locked in from my understanding. It's just not whether it's expedition. Go ahead, Bobby.
Francis Ngannou, you are Money Moyakano. I hope it was worth it. Biggest bag fumble ever.
Bag fumble.
I mean, from my perspective, I think his personal pride just got in the way. Though I wouldn't have been a fan of it, I would not have begrudged him for taking the money. So, yep. Your Money Moyakano now, Francis.
There you go. Rob put it out there. We got the Bomb Squad. That's right. Alicia Bumgarner is on the card. I'm excited. This, like I said, they do a great job. The team that Jake Paul does of highlighting female fighters on that card. And Alicia Bumgarner is one of the fastest rising young female fighters in her division. Unfortunately, she can't put on a whole bunch of weight and fight the GOAT. That's right. She cannot fight Clarissa Shields. She ain't gonna be that heavy. I promise you. But I'm excited to see her, though. Yeah,
that'll be interesting.
I mean, let's not also sweep under the rug that MVP picked a piece of shit to go into this event with. It blew up in their face, and they're trying to act like they were all above. They knew exactly who he was. They were selling it at the press conference like that. So
you can't have an alleged, a person who allegedly is involved in or has been involved in multiple complaints where there is
already involved in all that stuff when they asked him to fight. So
but then you got all these women on the spot.
They knew who they signed up for. Yeah. There wasn't some like epiphany in the 11th hour. Oh, I think we made a bad choice. They knew what they were doing. They wanted to go off of the shock of that. So, they gave a big enough of a bag to land on their feet for something that might be more entertaining to watch. But
I think
let's not act like this was above board the entire time.
No. Before we get out of here, any final thoughts?
Nah, bro. Hey, if you're watching this right now, we really appreciate you. I gotta give a big shout out to my guy, Nick Bodkins. That's right. Yesterday, we celebrated Veterans Day. That's right, Nick, bro. We celebrated Veterans Day, and we got to salute the guy who helps put this together every week. He was out there working for our freedom. Now he gets to check and he gets to hang with us and tell us all of his seaman stories. I mean, stories as a seaman. How do we say that? You know what I mean? So big shouts out to my guy, Nick Bodkins, man.
The first story I was a seaman. There's a lot of us and we were running, and then there was sat in a dark place for a while, and then a couple months later, it's big bright light and
the guy with a mask, right? Well, but thank you to you, my guy, of course, for fighting for our freedoms, and to everybody who may tune into this one. Thank you out there for sacrificing a part of your life for us to be able to do what we do, like my guy Bobby, and I do enjoy things like MMA on the weekends just for you. So once again, Nick, thanks for putting it out there.
I don't ever know what to say when somebody tells me Veterans Day, because if you knew what I did the whole time I was in the Navy, you'd be like, this guy. It's hard for me to be like, yeah, I feel great, but I appreciate it, man. Thanks. It means a lot. And happy Veterans Day to everybody else out there, who are still signed up on the dotted line. And, I try to tell myself, hey, we all, it's a thing that I don't know. It's hard to say. Bobby, any final thoughts? Thanks, Whit, for those kind words.
You're a modest man, bro. You're a man of few words, except for when it comes to like the fighting nerds. Then we could talk all day.
Go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to cap it off. I don't want to say anything stupid and fuck it up. So happy Veterans Day.
Good call. Thanks again. Appreciate it, everybody. Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. And thanks for everything that y'all do. And tune into the fights, tune into the banger card. I'll be back tomorrow night on Fall Start Thursday, 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern, talking the NFL with the boys. Other than that, be a friend, tell a friend. The three of us will be back next week, 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern. Talk about all the action on the fallout from UFC 322. We will see you then. Be a friend, tell a friend, like, subscribe, share. I'm hitting that outro, baby. We'll catch you next week.
We do a rec room right now.
I love it.
Thanks so much for joining us, and until next time, let's talk sport, friends. Thanks for watching.